I was told to cease and desist because I was supplying liver. Why do people question food, but they're so easily supportive and promote isolated synthetic nutrients? Where is that isolated laboratory-made nutrient coming from? Do we know enough about that?
Hey friends, before we get into this episode, I am going to ask for your help. We are on a mission to hit 4,000 subscribers in the next 30 days. I've got a stat here. 97% of you aren't actually subscribed. That's crazy. So for every follow, like, share, subscribe, that all really helps us to continue to get the guests that you want. So can you please join me in becoming one of the 4K crew? That would help me and I would love it so much. People may not know you until now, but Foraged For You has really become quite a favourite amongst, well, a lot of my patients anyway. People ask me if I know about it and I'm like, of course. Well. But from what moment did you realise, and I really hate the word side hustle because people say it to me all the time, that side hustle. It's like, I don't know, I don't treat anything as a side hustle. But at what point did you go, actually, this is happening?
Might be a surprise to you, but
yesterday.
Now you're telling me. No, in all honesty, I did think it was a side thing all along.
Still?
No, not now because it's taken over my life, our life, my entire family's life. And I'm meaning my mum's too and beyond. But yeah, so I was consulting at the time. I had 2 toddlers at the time. And I really thought this is a side thing of mine. Like I really was like, I'll continue doing everything else and it will just be a little thing that happens in the background. And I didn't know what I was getting myself into at all. I didn't know I was creating a business.
You just thought this is fun.
I'm just going to put like, this needs to happen. And I had this almost out of body or like entity take over me. And I just went on this mission of knowing it was just something that needed to happen and needed to exist for not only myself but others. So it was just kind of like its own existence. Right. It had its own energy and it was just kind of guiding me along. And then I guess the moment I needed or realised, I was like, I can't do this alone. So I actually made my husband leave his business. He had his own business. Right. He packed up because he was working from like 7 till 7 at night.
Yeah, right.
And then, I was trying to ship out all these things with my 2 kids. Impossible. So I apologise to the customers back then because it may have taken a few more days than home. So that was a definite realisation, but also I would say a really profound, slow burn of realization was when I hear from customers or practitioners that their practitioners are recommending it or, their integrative doctor, their naturopath, their nutritionist, acupuncturists, midwives in particular. I'm pretty sure most midwives know about it now or recommend it. They're like, foraged.
Yeah, right, I've heard. Yeah. And so what sparked you to create the products?
So for me personally, I had a long-standing passion of aiming where possible to seek nutrients from food, from learning about how not any nutrient performs alone. You don't walk past a vitamin C tree. You don't walk past a folic acid tree. They have nutrients around that nutrient in order to perform in our body. You know all this, but some people might not.
But nature knows, right?
Nature knows. And the more time goes on, the more we learn how important it is to know this, right? And we're always going to find out more. So when I fell pregnant, it was unexpected. And yes, I'd been a nutritionist for around 6 years, but hadn't entered that, pregnancy space of, oh my God, this is overwhelming. I'm trying to create a human. And I guess there's that fear element that exists within that space, right?
Well, it's very hard and fast to get yourself a prenatal and, a pregnancy multi, and if you're not, you're going to give your child spina bifida. Like that's basically the direction.
Yes, exactly.
Without any awareness of diet or nutrition or...
So even me as a nutritionist, having that knowledge and experience, I went to the doctor to confirm my pregnancy, and the first thing they recommended, so you're on folic acid, yeah? And I was like, wow, even I'm sitting here questioning myself whether I'm doing the right thing. Imagine someone else, right? So that's, I guess, where the passion really spiked. And from then, I wasn't the only one getting pregnant. There's so many people around me, my age group, falling pregnant. They're asking me what I'm taking. I'm like, oh, well, you just need to get liver from the US. You just need to get camu from here. You just need to get kelp from here, or do iodine drops on your skin from all different places. Make sure it's organic. Make sure it's free from maltodextrin and silicon dioxide. Make sure it's actually got vitamin C in the camu because some don't really.
Really?
Well, some are really low depending on the processing.
Right.
Because it's heat sensitive. Yeah. So there's all those elements when it comes to each ingredient. What else was there? The greens, the fermented greens, making sure you actually can digest it, have that so you can get some natural folate, obviously from the liver as well. And then it was overwhelming for not only them, but also me to keep up with having those sorts of things every day, the right amounts, the consistency, but you're tired, you're nauseous, you're over it.
It's a treat.
Yeah. And it's expensive to keep up with all of those things. That's when I just went, I've got to do this. It wasn't really seeing what could happen or what it might become, or it was just this needs to happen. Kim Morrison, she lived across the road from me at the time.
Oh, yeah.
And she hates the taste of liver, but she has foraged every day.
Right.
But she now does the capsules. She's like, hallelujah for the capsules, because she can taste liver from 460 miles away. I would give her my weird concoctions that I was coming up with, and I'd get a delivery of one ingredient. I'd be like, come try this.
Oh, she'd love that.
Yeah. She's like, Sheridan, you need to make this taste good, mate. And then that's when I went down the beetroot juice element. But now we know, and at the time, of course, it's not only rich in folate, but it increases the nutrient delivery to the cells, and it has its own benefits there. So it's so cool, and I'm so glad it exists in there, and the blood building properties. Anyway, it was a journey. That's why.
So how long did that process take from what we see today to when you first started formulating? I'm assuming it's gone through a few iterations.
So much has happened. It's been a full journey. But the actual development of the formula was, or till its existence was 2 years at least. And that was writing on napkins in cafes, figuring out the formulations for, getting the right iodine amount and how much kelp we need to add, and getting the right amount of liver, and et cetera. Yeah. So.
And now you truly do have people talking about it everywhere, like you said, from midwives to people that are just wanting, not for pregnancy or for prenatal care, but actually beyond.
Totally. I'm 4 years postpartum, and I just had some in the car just now. And I can't see myself ever not having it.
Right.
And my dad, grandparents, people going through perimenopause, literally had a review yesterday of it stopped someone's hot flushes.
Amazing.
It's your body sighs with relief. It's finally got the nourishment that it's been missing for so long. So it's thank you.
I want to talk a little bit about the supplement industry, and what do you position yourself as, a supplement, or is it more of a food?
Love that question, because I actually yes, it's a supplement. Let's be honest, really. But I hate calling it a supplement.
I think we see it as more of a medicine, where this is something that is food as medicine pretty much.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess when you describe Foraged, we do provide supplements. And by the way, I must actually make clear what I've just been talking about there is the Mother's Blend.
Right,
That's how it began.
Which is the one that most people know of. Yeah.
I guess now when I see the need for something, I'm like, oh, well, now I want that, so let's make that.
What do you wish more people knew about when it comes to supplements?
I would like to highlight again the fact that no nutrient performs alone. So when it's made in the laboratory, it needs a whole bunch of trace minerals around it, and enzymes, and just all cofactors, other nutrients to support it. Let's give iron, for example, as an example. So a lot of people, I guess, when they're iron deficient, it's let's focus on iron. And not only is it not from nature, that mineral that's been created in the supplement, it doesn't have the cofactors around it that iron or our body needs in order to increase our iron metabolism and support what's coming out in a blood test and how we feel. For example, vitamin A, copper, magnesium, choline, kind of. vitamin C, of course, and then there's probiotics that are involved in there. So like really, it is so wild to think that it is so normal to go, you need iron, so go take that individualized iron supplement. But not only as time goes on, we find out more about how that's performing in the body, and it can actually be so inflammatory as well. So, think of, ferrous sulfate, for example, like Ferrograd C, we learnt 30 or so years later how terrible that is for the gut and how it's actually can make someone's iron deficiency worse. So I always question what is new, what's being brought out now, and what are we going to find out in 30 years' time?
I know. I can't help but have the same questions, but it is classic that iron is a great example.
Yeah.
How many people are iron deficient?
Yeah.
Prescribed iron doesn't do anything over a long. No. They actually just perpetuate the cycle.
Yeah, exactly.
Without any reason as to looking why they're not absorbing it.
Yes, not absorbing it, or maybe they don't need iron.
Right.
Maybe they do need vitamin A. Maybe they do need magnesium for the iron metabolism. Yeah, maybe they do have parasite.
Right. So it's again asking why is what you're saying.
Yeah, and again just like the questioning of where is that isolated laboratory made nutrient coming from? Does it actually do we know enough about that? What are we going to find out soon? I definitely need to mention folic acid and of how much we know about that now, and how if people aren't aware that are listening, like 1990s, it was heavily recommended, but now we know, but it's still recommended heavily, and in all of our breads and cereals and blah, blah, blah. But folic acid can't be metabolized in up to 60% or more of the population, and it's actually sending them more folate deficient, creating the problems that we're actually taking folic acid for in the first place.
Right.
Spina bifida or neural tube defects of any kind. So it's like, all right, we found that out. What are we going to find out about this, and this? It's
interesting how we're always so prepared to go for a tablet over, say, something like liver.
Totally. And my husband actually mentioned that this morning because I was talking to him about it. He was like, why do people question food, but they're so easily supportive and promote isolated synthetic nutrients? But that is the same with like TGA, and I was told to cease and desist because I was supplying liver.
Why would you
Doesn't that just make you so effing angry?
Why though? This was recently, wasn't it?
It's happened twice. Yeah. So I could have easily given up so many times, right? But yeah, again,
that's wild.
It is. Yeah, I fully had to pull it off the website for a few weeks whilst I battled this.
How dare you be promoting food?
I know. What they sell in butchers area there.
Yeah, right.
And what we've eaten for thousands of years.
Right. It is. It's wild and it's disappointing.
So disappointing. And I literally sit there and school the TGA people. I'm like, but research tells us. And they're like, yeah, but...
You'll have a hotline.
Yeah. I should just sit down the whole TGA.
Eventually they'll be like, it's just us again. It's going to be fine. Don't worry.
Yeah, exactly. Why they don't like liver is generally due to the vitamin A. No, it is. It is due to the vitamin A debacle.
I don't really get that either because, again, everything in nature is complete as far as I'm concerned. So why would we be so concerned? Also, didn't we shy away from vitamin A, especially in pregnancy, and then figure out that was a bad idea?
Yeah. So I don't think I need to say anymore.
I'm putting words in your mouth.
No. I absolutely love it because I love hearing it from other people.
Well, it's wild. It's like we went, no more vitamin A. That's not good. Yeah. Let's take it out. And it's still to this day, I battle with patients going, and sometimes their health providers. Yeah. No, absolutely you need vitamin A when you're pregnant. That would mean removing a whole food group.
Yeah. There's more risk of preterm birth defects with a vitamin A deficiency than too much vitamin A. And also, full stop, there is no research to show that food vitamin A causes birth defects. There's no evidence.
So we made it up.
It's like, what foot are you standing on? They're just basing it on one study that showed that high doses I'm sure there's few, high doses of synthetic vitamin A, huge whopping doses that are almost unachievable through food, showed that there was a minor cause of birth defects within, the population that went through the study.
The problem is that most people would not research that to find it out. They would just be guided by the advice that's given, that's general advice.
Yeah.
And trust that.
And then we go, now we know vitamin A is so important for not only our immune system, but also iron metabolism. And we've got a giant problem, but they still demonize it. And I've had so much slack even from other practitioners.
Let's talk again. We've sort of touched on formulation, and I think I know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask it anyway. What do you think most supplements completely miss the mark on then, and what do you guys do differently?
We do a lot differently, I reckon. I stay really true to my word, and I really mean that. Like, there's no swaying. There's no we'll just take that ingredient even though it's got silicon dioxide or maltodextrin. So if people are listening are like, what are they? Maltodextrin is a byproduct of genetically modified wheat or corn. So it's kind of like a filler. So for example, Oyster is this is a new product coming out actually. Let's just use that as an example anyway.
Right.
It's coming out really soon. It's all done. It's literally being put into capsules right now. So cool. It's really exciting.
We use a lot of oyster in Chinese medicine.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. It's not just oyster though. So it's oyster and guava leaf.
Ooh.
Yeah. So oyster alone provides 2 to 3 milligrams of zinc per serve. Guava leaf, combining it, not only has it got all the trace minerals and really cool things called isonophers. Do you know what that is? No? I probably said it wrong.
Sounds like something from the Teletubbies.
It is a Teletubby character. One isonopher, if I said that right, is an example is like quercetin, for example. It helps the transport of zinc actually to get into the cell.
Right. So it's on its own. It does an okay job.
Yeah.
But with this, it amplifies that.
Guava leaf, it has those properties. But also it brings that zinc serve. I'm not allowed to say dose, according to
we say serve as well. Yes, I got you. Yes.
Yeah. Brings that zinc serve up to 25 or, however many capsules you want to take, milligrams of zinc.
And far more available.
Oh, my God. Enormously bioavailable. Like, I am absolutely obsessed. And anyway, what am I talking about? So oyster is one ingredient in there. And there's been reviews of other oyster products. 70% of some of them are maltodextrin, like oyster powders.
Why and how?
They just fill it.
Fill it.
Yeah. It's to stop it caking. Well, it's also just goes further.
So why does
someone... It's such an expensive product.
Right. So they're cutting it basically.
Yeah.
So
it's like the new cocaine.
Sounds like it. So for the person listening, would happen if you had too much of those ingredients?
Well, I guess everyone will respond differently. Personally, my gut doesn't love maltodextrin because I have actually had deliveries of ingredients and it hasn't said that it's got maltodextrin in it. And then it comes and I test it and then we ask more questions. I'm like, so that's why I felt sick that day.
Right.
Yeah, it makes me nauseous, but think about whether you're having it you'll probably be checking packaged goods, right, for things like maltodextrin.
Yes.
But then some people are having it every day unknowingly.
Right.
Yeah. So I think that's what supplement industries miss the mark on is true integrity, honesty.
Well, it's a lot of corner cutting for bigger profits.
Totally. That's so not my interest. And the thing is whilst they seem like expensive products, that's one reason I don't go down the distributor route. And that is a loss for me because I could get it out way faster. But I literally can't because they would be making more money than us. And that to me doesn't make sense because we're losing. We don't have that profit margin basically.
Right. But I think also that this is a fairly good indication of how to find a brand with great integrity. Look at how they're doing things, but look at how it's sold. There's a reason why you haven't done that so that you can maintain certain standards and make sure you put food on the table and whatever else. Right.
We've been asked by Coles and we've been asked by other companies, but it's like we don't have that margin.
No.
We'd have to charge a lot.
And then it's not feasible for people to actually, it just doesn't work,
So I just want to make it possible for people to be nourished, but legit nourished, not 70% maltodextrin nourished.
Now, as a businesswoman, you're also a mum. Let's talk a little bit about that so we can get to know you a little bit better. Well, I hate the term do it all because no one's doing it all, right? No. But how have you found that juggle?
Haven't.
Right? Did things change? Like you had to make an Easter hat today?
Yes. Things are different every day. And as I guess most parents know, the hot word for parenting, I think, is surrender and flow. I learned, thankfully, I guess, pretty quickly how important it was to prioritize nourishment and saying no more, not necessarily to like social things or anything like that, just like expectations, self-expectations showing up. I just really just pulled back and I was like, what? I loved a quote recently that I read. It was like, I want to practice more being where my feet are. Yeah. You know, it's so true.
Right.
And when you do that, it's profound. So when I was with my kids the other day, often I feel guilty to work and I feel guilty being with them because then I'm like, well, I should be working or I should be with my kids. But I'm really working on trying to focus on where my feet are. And so the other day, for example, I was with my kids and I was like, shut my phone up because it's very consuming and put it away. And I just was fully with them, did the Marco Polo with them, did the bath with them. The bath is not yours anymore.
It's definitely not.
Or they wee in there and all sorts,
nice.
You know? But I did it.
Good, lucky you. You got your dose of everything.
Yeah, and I was just like, that was profound. I know the impact it had on them and that it had on me. So, but I guess if anyone's starting a business and you've got children, just do the business, but also seek help. Like the seeking of help is just so critical, right? And flow.
I think we forget that we can ask for help.
Oh, like you reminded me last night that I should probably have gotten someone else to make the bonnet for the Easter hat parade.
I was like, surely someone else can do that. But like we said, as your little one gets older, he'll be able to make it himself.
Yes.
Yeah. And then you'll be like, oh, I really like you to make that. How about running a brand in the current wellness industry? Because it can be really polarizing and a little bit I don't know, there's competition, but I feel like there should be integrity maybe because it's wellness.
Honestly, it was shocking to begin with. I thought people were genuinely good people. I really, and that sounds so bad and so like, I deserve it all. You know what I mean?
No.
That sounds really
well, I think you thought things were a certain way. Yeah,
and I guess where my visions and wants came from is, you know, the years of passion and like love and like truth and like just really from the right place. And then when you see like nothing like it existed, I literally was getting it from the US, like, and then I saw like products coming out that are like so similar and not developed by nutritionists or naturopaths or anything. I was like, where could they have gotten that concept from, you know, just tweaked slightly. We could have gone down the legal route but chose not to. So I won't lie in saying that it didn't stab me in the heart a bit, you know, like it really was fearful. It made me fearful of the future because it's like, shit, this is my life now. This is actually was my creation and mine, but now it's going, oh my gosh, now it's the reality of the health industry and of how brutal it is. But each moment like that has certainly built more and more resilience. And I just was told by a really great psychic, actually. She's like an energy healer and blah, blah, blah. She just said, don't let other things dim your light.
Right.
And just stay in your truth. So I was just like, okay, don't let it dim my light.
I think also there's something to be said about the OG being the first person and then leading with integrity. I think that generally everything else falls away. You can have the imitation or the copycats, and it's, you can see it two ways. You can kind of go, oh, that's cute, that's so flattering, thanks so much, or how dare you, like you've literally ripped my product. They don't stand the test of time.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think we have to see it that way. It's like, otherwise you go nuts.
Absolutely, yeah. And again, it's just that reminder of, just like keeping that light bright.
Yeah.
Because otherwise they can slip in. And it's just focusing. I kind of just use it now as almost inspiration to keep going and to just, okay, cool, that's fine. I'm just
You're doing something right.
Yeah, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. And also, use it as like, all right, people are getting what I'm doing and that's exciting and they're seeing what I meant by what it is, because it is really weird.
Well, I mean, I guess it's different. It's, if you had have rewound 300 years, it wasn't weird.
Yeah.
Maybe even 100 years, it wasn't weird. Yeah. Like, when did it become weird? I don't know.
When prenatals existed.
Right. But even I know
that
as kids, my mum used to make us eat liver and brains.
That's amazing. I love your mum.
No, I didn't love it at the time.
No, but she's got to teach me how to eat brains.
Like, fry it up with stuff.
Wow.
And it was like something that she made us do every now and again.
What you do today.
We can thank Mum. But it was just something that was normal in the house. I don't know that my friends' mums were doing that, but my mum certainly was. There was lots of things my mum did that was a little bit, people were like, oh. But she was smart. It was food as medicine.
Yeah, we only focus on the fine cuts now. And I think that's why I needed to make it more effortless for people and an everyday thing, because we are freaked out by it now. Like, we are. Nose to tail is great in your head.
Right.
In reality, it's a bit daunting when you're not a butcher yourself. Right. Or live on a farm. Yeah, I'd love to be a hunter and gatherer, but sorry.
Yeah, right.
I also don't want to do that.
Yeah, I saw your beautiful new car. I don't think you could drive that on the farm. What's one wellness rule or health trend you think that we should all completely ignore?
No disrespect.
None taken.
Yeah. I probably would have to say veganism, of course, is something that I just think nutrients are so much more effortlessly received from meat products. And they just happen to be the most digestible and abundant in there, and actually your body can use it effectively, effortlessly, and we have, again, been doing that for so long, and I just feel like everyone, also clients, people, Instagram people, they're all eating meat now. They're all gone like full, done a U-turn, and they're onto the liver now.
And I wondered if this, like watching on, I couldn't agree more, for starters. So many patients, I always say to a patient, all right, we'll try and meet you where you're at. Yeah. We'll start with where.
Excuse the pun.
Right? That is funny.
But you've made a mistake.
Yes, right.
What about that?
I always say, all right, let's just not change anything. We'll start to treat this. But if I can't get the results that I would expect, we have to talk about adding in some type of meat and meat products. There's amino acids and certain things that you just can't get anywhere else, or, to your point, that are bioavailable and like a complete package.
Yeah, that's exactly right. A complete package is a perfect way to say it, because you don't only get protein and all those amino acids and those even non-essential ones, inverted commas, like creatine, for example. That's such a big thing at the moment, but you can effortlessly get that in your meat products. And then, of course, you're getting all of the other nutrients that we need too. So it's like its own little vitamin pill, your B vitamins, your zinc, your vitamin A again, like, etc. So, yeah, it's just so much easier.
Well, I think to be a good vegan is a lot of effort.
So much effort. You have to eat so at least better fermented legumes in order to get your protein needs. And you have to have enormous amounts for a woman to get their protein needs. And that's not really happening. And that's, I guess, why you and I would both see so many people, vegan or vegetarian for long periods, start to have those hormonal issues, or even depression and anxiety. It's all showing up.
Yeah, I'll never forget, many, many years ago, we were at an expo And it was just after I had many years ago co-authored a book called Eat Fat, Be Thin.
That was going to be my, if I had time, the next thing I hate in the industry. Oh,
Yes.
Is that what the question was? Like
Yes.
the low fat.
Right.
The low fat. I have to say that before I forget. But yeah, you continue.
No, that's perfect. Well, we had a woman come up to us and said, what's this book about? And obviously the title, Eat Fat, Be Thin. And she was like, oh, I've cut out all fats. And she's like, my mental health is so bad, they want to admit me. And I was like, eat some food. Like, what in the world? You're like, every part of you needs that. Your hormones are made of fat and protein. Like, it's just wild to me. But to your point originally, like, we try and isolate things.
Yeah.
And food is always as it should be in nature.
Yeah. And as we know, like the fat-soluble vitamins, you're not just becoming deficient in the fat itself. It's the vitamin A, D, E, and K, which all individually have their own incredible benefits. So no wonder her brain is a big fart.
You do have an amazing community that you've built that, you know, you show up for on Instagram and you
Try to.
Well, I think we call it edutain.
Oh,
Educate and entertain.
stunning.
I know.
Love that.
My team came up with that a little while ago.
Got to do some more edutaining lately.
Right,
Yeah.
right. But I mean, it can also come with criticism. How do you cope with being misunderstood misunderstood?
Yeah. Thankfully, it's few and far between, which is really nice.
Do you think it was, sorry to cut you off, but do you think it was worse 5 years ago than what it is now? Do you think it's maybe the community is a little bit more curated?
Yeah.
And people have decided if you're not for me, then I'll leave. Like, and you're like, thank you, because not everybody has to be for everybody.
All along, though, not even just 5 years ago and now, I have learned to think they just don't know it yet. They just don't know yet. They haven't learnt yet. They're on their journey. Give it time and they will. They haven't gone through it. And to be honest, it always happens. Like those people that were being horrible and I received apologies from years ago are now eating exactly like me.
Right.
Yeah. So it's interesting, but also when I say they don't know it yet, an example would be they recently, this is just fresh on my mind because recently a male really bagged out Foraged and said it was useless and that it's all just hype. And thankfully he ended up sending me a really long apology. But I was just like, you don't know yet. You also haven't been a pregnant woman journeying through the most depleting time in what you could ever go through as a human and felt the repletion that could occur from food. So you just don't know. And you know what? People were like, did you reply to his message? Did you reply to his message? I was like, this is the most perfect time. And like, I've never felt more okay to say I haven't got time for that shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's what happens too. You know, your integrity and heart's in the right place. You know, more creates more. So you keep doing what you're doing and kind of don't let others derail that.
Yeah, I think it's also like, okay, I get that you can bag out other powders and stuff. Like I totally understand that, but maybe suss it out first because we're really different.
Right.
You know, we check the ingredients. It's so legit. Like we haven't bullshitted anyone.
All right. If the current Sheridan could give day one Sheridan a little pep talk before launching Foraged, what would she say and what would she warn her about?
I'd probably really and mean it so hard, like strap on in, doll. Like here we go. You have no fluffing idea.
Do you know how many of our guests are like buckle up, strap in? Like everyone says the same thing. It's quite wild.
Yeah, because it is a journey and I've learned so much. And hey, Dal, you're about to create a business. Yeah. Do you know what that is?
It's not a side hustle, sweetie.
Yeah. And maybe learn some stuff about business.
Or get someone else to help you with it, like your husband, or is he more business minded?
He's learned a lot too. However, yes, he's definitely, I never look at numbers. Like I'm like, don't tell me anything. I don't want to know.
Let me just do the formulation.
Formulation. Because I don't want to go, I'll know about numbers because then I don't want to come from the wrong place of like, buy my products, I need money.
Yeah.
You know?
You just buy my products because they're great. Meanwhile, no, it's all good. Asking, what would you say to day one Sheridan?
I would say you can do it. Shit, why does that make me emotional?
Good.
Whoa.
Well, you are doing it. You have done it, and it's amazing. Yeah. Aww.
Because there's like been so many times of so much doubt. Like, I was, I always reflect on, growing up in school, blonde, ditzy, dead from the neck up, I was told. Like,
right.
All those things. So that's like instilled in me, right? But like, so when I come up to barriers or whatever, or like things, it's like, whoa, so much fear, like low self-worth, I guess, or like, what's that thing? The something syndrome.
Imposter syndrome.
I feel like I'm incapable, but it's like what I have had to continue to tell myself is my words to myself are always, I am more than capable. I am more than capable. And I always need to remind myself that.
Babe, you're doing it. So I think you are more than capable. But thank you for sharing that, because that helps so many other people that are feeling the same way. And I think anyone doing great things has those moments where they feel either they're alone or that they don't know what they're doing, or there's that story running there in their head that they're not good enough. And so I think talking about it is how we overcome those things. So thank you for being vulnerable and sharing. It's really important, I think, to have those conversations.
Yeah.
And there's a whole community out there that's so grateful for everything that you do.
Also, those times where you were taught to believe that you are incapable is in a moment where you're not doing what you're meant to be doing. You just haven't
100%.
found it yet. Yeah. Like I hated maths, I hated science, but then when I got into uni to study nutrition, I got high distinctions. Like
because you're in your flow and you love to.
It's like shit, yeah.
I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So great. Well, thank you for taking the time to come and sit with me and share to everyone. Is there anywhere particular we should be pointing people where they can find out more info?
Well, TGA has taken a lot down. But we had to take away a lot of blogs. But what's there at the moment are recipes, which is foragedforyou.com. Lots of recipes there. There's obviously Forage, so you can read about the stuff that I'm so passionate about. I guess, regarding the reviews and stuff, because I love people hearing it, not from me, from others. We did have 900 reviews there plus, but they had to be all taken down. We've just got very simple, basic ones there now. So
trust us.
In your brain, just imagine them being there. But there's yummy chocky recipes there too, so go treat yourself.
Amazing. Thank you so much. This has been so great.
Pleasure.